Hello, everybody. It's WXVU Sports Director David Szczepanski from the WXVU studio, and it is time for a Villanova men's basketball preview. And what a matchup we have tonight at the Finneran Pavilion as the Cincinnati Bearcats, ranked 14th in the nation, come to the Finneran Pavilion to take on your Villanova Wildcats. So Bearcats and Wildcats tonight at 6:30 p.m. at the Finneran Pavilion. And this is going to be a really great matchup between Villanova and Cincinnati. As I said, Cincinnati ranked 14th in the country. Villanova, they are 4-4 in their first 8 games. They are coming off a blowout win over Rider 6 days ago on Thanksgiving Eve. That was a really good performance. Villanova looks to build off of that. And even if you remember a few days before that game against Rider on Sunday in the Empire Classic, Villanova lost to Maryland by just 1 point. And even though it was a pretty big second half collapse, Villanova really struggled down the stretch again. I thought their effort was really good that day. They played really well against a very good Terrapins team. So really, it's been 2 or 3 consecutive games if you go all the way back to the Penn game as well. The Villanova has really played well. They played together. I think their defense has looked improved. Their offense has come together, even though they have struggled a little bit down the stretch at times, specifically in that game against Maryland. But Villanova's trying to build off of what I think the last 3 games has been pretty promising for them to get back on track after some early season struggles, including losses to Virginia, St. Joe's, and Columbia. So Villanova 4-4. Eric Dixon did not score 20 points for the first time this season in his last game. Did not score 20 points against Rider, but he's still averaging 25 points per game, which is second in the country right now. And as for Cincinnati, they come into this game with a record of 6-0. They have not lost yet, but they have played some weaker non-conference competition this season. They haven't really played anybody all that great yet. Their offense is averaging 85 points per game. They have yet to allow more than 60 points to an opponent. 60 points is the most points that their defense has allowed to an opponent. Their defense is giving up about 55, 56 points per game. So Cincinnati, I mean, a lot to like. Like I said, they're undefeated. They're 6-0. Their defense has been playing really well. In all their 6 wins, they have yet to win a game by less than 16 points. So that just goes to show you, too, how good the Cincinnati team has been. Like I said, though, against weaker non-conference competition, when you match up the team that Cincinnati has played and the teams that Villanova has played, Villanova has definitely had the tougher resume. Some other stats about Cincinnati: they technically have 4 scorers averaging more than 10 points, but their leading scorer, Dan Skillings Jr., is out. He suffered a knee injury in the very beginning of the season. He played just 1 game, and in that 1 game, he scored 17 points, had 11 rebounds, so had a double-double, but he is out with a knee injury. So really, the top player has been Simas Lakosis, who is in his 2nd year with Cincinnati. And you may remember that name, Simas Lakosis. He played with Butler for 2 years at the very beginning of his college career in his freshman and his sophomore season, and really has taken a big step forward so far this season, especially in the absence of Skillings Jr. He's averaging around 17 points per game coming into this one, and he's always been a pretty good college player, right? You look at last year, he was averaging around 11, 12 points per game, definitely in double digits, but he's taken a step forward. He's a senior guard from Lithuania. They also have Jizzle James, who is averaging around 13, 14 points per game, and Dylan Mitchell. And Mitchell's very interesting because he's averaging 12 points per game and 8 rebounds, but he really struggles with the charity stripe. He's just 1 for 17 from the free throw line coming into this one. And Cincinnati, if they have a weakness, it is from the charity stripe. They're shooting just 59% as a team, so that could definitely play a factor, especially if this game is close late at the Finneran Pavilion tonight. Some other stats for Cincinnati: as a team, they're shooting about they're averaging 85 points per game, as I said earlier, but as a team, they are shooting more than 50% from the field. They are also shooting 41% from behind the arc. So even though they struggle from the charity stripe, they still shoot the ball really well. They also do a pretty good job at limiting turnovers. They're averaging just 9.5 turnovers per contest this season. So Cincinnati does a lot right. Like I said, the main weakness would be the free throw shooting, but I also think the fact that they played a weaker schedule is also a weakness coming into this one, especially when you look at the schedule that Villanova has played this season, just kind of coming into this game. So I think my two keys to the game for this one, my first one would be for the Wildcats, just put some pressure on Cincinnati early, right? I mean, if Cincinnati falls behind, even though Villanova did have a lead in the first half against Maryland and still lost in the Empire Classic, if they fall behind, Cincinnati may get really nervous, right? They're already playing without one of their best players, Dan Skillings Jr., and they really haven't played anybody all that great yet. So in their first major test, if they fall behind early, especially in a venue like the Finneran Pavilion that is very close, kind of right on top of you, I think the Bearcats may get pretty nervous. And my second key to the game is really just the rebounding battle. I mean, Cincinnati is averaging 39, almost 40 rebounds per contest, but Villanova's up there too. I mean, they're averaging around 37, 38 rebounds per contest. So Villanova can just keep the rebounding battle close. I think that'll be a really beneficial thing to kind of keep this game close overall and give Villanova a chance to steal it from Cincinnati. My third key to the game for the Wildcats, I say it all the time, but it's just to limit turnovers, right? Villanova, if they take care of the basketball, they had less than 10 turnovers against Rider, which was definitely an improvement. Take care of the basketball and make Cincinnati earn their points. And trust me, they could shoot well, they can defend well, but you put some pressure on them early in this game. I think they may struggle a little bit. So I think that will definitely be something to watch to see if Villanova can get ahead early and to see how Cincinnati does respond. Right now, where you look in terms of Vegas odds, I'm looking at ESPN. Villanova's around 3 to 4 point underdogs against Cincinnati at home tonight at the Finneran Pavilion. And according to KenPom.com, Cincinnati is ranked 9th in the country. As I said, they are ranked 14th in the nation in the AP Top 25 poll. They started the season ranked 20th, so they have continued to climb up. In terms of the all-time series, Villanova leads Cincinnati 5-1, but the Bearcats did win the last matchup back in 2013 by double digits. So Villanova and the Cincinnati Bearcats tonight at the Finneran Pavilion at 6:30 p.m. Our WXVU coverage will begin at 6 p.m. as Stephen Kane, Dominic Ricchetti, and I will have the call. We hope to see you there, everybody. Have a great day. Huge game tonight. Big 12 versus Big East battle. Hope you join us on WXVU. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, go Cats!